This is Aligned Business Alchemy. I'm Marianne Till, and this episode is why your business doesn't feel like you. So, welcome. This is the Aligned Business Alchemy podcast. It's a visual podcast where I explore topics from astrology, human design, archetypal wisdom, things that can help you build a business that feels aligned, alive, and sustainable. In this episode, we are exploring one reason why you might be asking yourself, why doesn't my business feel like it fits me? So this episode is for you if you've ever found yourself asking, why does my business feel like a burden, not a joy? Is my business supposed to make me feel like I'm doing something wrong all the time? Shouldn't I be further along? Why do I feel like I'm failing? I'm doing the same things as the XYZ expert, so why doesn't it feel easy? Or in fact, why doesn't it feel like it's working? So why does it actually feel like I'm out of sync with my business is essentially the big summation of that. It's like something isn't quite fitting, even though you've been doing all the right things. Now, I've had this happen several times, maybe more than several even, in the last 6+ years of my business, particularly at the very beginning, but there's been revisions and updates happening across those whole 6 years. And to start with, I really thought that the reason it felt like my business didn't fit me was actually because I didn't fit being in business. So there was a whole lot of really self-blame kinds of thinking that happened right at the beginning. And it was only through my sheer and absolute determination that I was meant to be an entrepreneur, that I was meant to be guiding people, that allowed me to stick with the pathway. Plus the fact that I had a job. So, if things weren't working in the business, I was okay. That's not the case now. So you kind of have to really drill down when this is it, don't you? So the other thing I would say is that it is useful when you're in business for some self-examination to just stop and go, what's working, what's not working, what feels like it needs to go, what feels like it wants to be birthed. This is a natural part of being in business, and that's not what I'm talking about in this episode. I'm a Virgo sun, so it can be very easy for me to tip away from self-examination into self-blame. Uh, you know, so that might be the case for you as well. But we need to be careful that we see things in the true light. So, and this was something I had to learn. This was part of my journey. So the fact is that most often when we feel like there's this kind of uneasiness, this heaviness, this question essentially about us in our business, particularly when we're working on our business, we're doing all the things we're meant to do. Why does it still have this really heavy feeling? And it's telling us that there's actually something else that's going on. We're not to blame, there's something else that's happening here. So these are 3 big reasons why you might be feeling this way, when it's useful to actually pause and do a little bit of an assessment. And none of these are your fault. Okay? And I'm saying that because the messages that we get when we go into business often revolve around, this is the way you always do it. This is the way you have to, in my case, run a coaching business. My business is not just a coaching business. That was the underlying message. So what might be going on? So first of all, you are likely using systems or processes or structures that are not an energetic match for you. So they do work for some people, but obviously they are not working for you. Well, this is what you need to determine. Are your systems, processes, and structures an energetic match for you? Then you can work from there. The next really big one I find with entrepreneurs is that your business is not actually in alignment with your values and your purpose. So this means that even when things are working, so like the systems, processes, and structures are working, but they just don't feel right. They might almost feel like they're almost a belt tightening around your waist, getting tighter and tighter and tighter, so you can't breathe. They don't feel comfortable. They don't feel right. And this is because there's a mismatch with the things that are your innate embedded values and your purpose desire, decided by your design. And the third one, which I see over and over again, because particularly from a Western society perspective, we are taught from the time we are tiny to trust external authorities above ourselves. And when we do that over and over and over again, then this begins to feel very internally uncomfortable, and often you don't know why. So this is a really important one. So thinking about those reasons, there are others, but these are the big three that I've seen working with business owners, listening to business owners. So it's not that you are doing your business wrong. Let go of that idea. What's actually happened is that you've been building your business from the wrong reference point. And the reference point is someone else's reference point, whether it is from experts, whether it's from particular, this is the way we do it in this industry kind of reference point, whether it is, just taking on board someone else's values, someone else's direction. We can build our business from many different reference points, and that can create this friction. So there is a pathway forward. There always is, but sometimes it does require going through a little bit of uncomfortable work that ultimately ends up with helping us feel more satisfied and more aligned. So this path forward can answer the question, how can I feel more satisfied and aligned in my business? So the truth that I worked out after expanding my awareness of who I truly am was that I could be satisfied. I could feel energized, and I could definitely feel aligned in my business. And I could feel like every single day was a day of opportunity and adventure in my business, not something to avoid. And that was a big shift for me. So think about what you want to be feeling in your business as well, so that you know what the shift wants to be. So let me go through what this pathway forward can look like. So I've given you a little warning. Let me say it again. Going through this process is likely to require some shaking up of your perspectives, shaking up of your identity, some shaking up of your business. But it is worth it. It's worth it for your own personal well-being. But it's also worth it to build something that truly becomes a legacy. Right, let's start with step one. We're starting big. They're all big. So step one, you need to start from who you are designed to be, not from what you've been told works, and even not from who you've been told that you are. The only way you can get a sense of this and trust it is by actually going back to some of the ancient wisdom that we have available. So I work with human design, astrology, gene keys, archetypal kinds of energies to step back into looking at what your soul designed you to do here. That's the first part. So you need to do your own investigation or, come along and find out from someone who can easily work it out. So step one, you need to know who you're designed to be. Step two is actually 3 parts. So the first one, once you know who you are, you then have that starting point, that compass that can point you towards your true north, your true self. So knowing that, step 2 becomes much easier. Easier, but not easy. So you still need to do some work. So look at your business, remove what actually doesn't fit. Sometimes it's just simply getting rid of complexity. There is a real thing that we have just generally in our culture that complexity is better than simplicity. That's often not the case. Taking your business back to, a really basic kind of structure can feel lighter straight away. So what doesn't fit? Remove it. See if you need to replace it with something else. That's your question mark. If I take this out, is there a gap in my business or am I just making space to expand? The next thing to look at is, looking at the entire processes of your business. So I'm not necessarily talking just about that client-facing endpoint. Your business is built on a foundation, or it should be. Now, if that foundation does not align with your personal foundation, this gets a bit wonky. All right. So what needs to be changed, what can actually be changed within your business? You don't want to go through the process of burning it to the ground unless there's no other option. I have done that 2 times. So really think about how can I just make a few adjustments? How can I adapt this process so that then I will feel comfortable doing it and it represents me out to the people who I'm wanting to work with? And then really consciously choose what it is you want to embrace in your business. What do you want your business to look like? What are the values that are going to enable you to be stepping into a business every single day that you can love, that you can nurture, and that can become your legacy? Right, let's have a look now at step 3. So this is a massive one, but it is so important. And this is why I had to burn my business down 2 times and start again, because I did not center myself as the sovereign authority in my business. I kept on outsourcing. You are the one who gets to decide what is correct for you. So this is why step 1 had to happen. You need to know who you are before you can be truly sovereign. Otherwise, you're seeking for acceptance, acknowledgement from the outside world instead of doing that for yourself. So knowing yourself, knowing how to align to yourself, gives you the ultimate freedom to claim your sovereignty and your sovereign authority. Now, this is a very big topic, and I have actually written an article just on this topic that I've put on LinkedIn. So I've put the link to that down below if you are interested to go a little bit deeper into this. I won't delve too much here, just to say that, in essence, you need to build a relationship with your own authentic self, which includes reconnecting or deepening your connection to your internal soul-led navigation system, which could be called your authority in human design. It could be called inspiration. It could be called intuition. It could be called a number of things by you. But essentially, it is that part of you that connects to your soul is saying yes or no, wait a while, whatever it is, however your navigation system works. And it is individual. You are an individual. The way your sovereign authority works is individual. All right, so what can you do right now? Because all of the stuff I've just talked about is really a bit of, work to do on ourselves as well as on our business. You can start to do stuff now. So I've kind of broken this down into just 3 steps. The first one is choose, where do I feel least comfortable in my business right now? So, this could be in the way in which you are, marketing your business. It could be the way in which you're working with clients. It could be the way in which you acquire clients. It could be something else like the financial side. There's so many different moving pieces within a business. So pick the one that really is the one that when you get up and work in your business every day, work on your business every day, you go, oh, I'm avoiding doing this. Ugh. So the next thing you need to do, and this is the real honesty piece, why does it feel so uncomfortable? That's what you need to assess. What's the cause of that? Is there some beliefs there? Are there some fears there? Maybe it's a combination of those. Is it truly something that's just not fitting you? And then, of course, once you've identified something you're going to focus on, and make sure it's just a teeny tiny thing. You're not rebuilding an entire system. Just choose one small thing that feels really uncomfortable and start with that. So the shift is essentially what needs to be removed or changed so that you can actually create a feeling of expansion, at least in that one area in your business, as though, it's feeling just that little bit looser and more enjoyable. And if you do that, once a week, you choose something and go through this short process, it's amazing where you will end up in a very short space of time. Now, basically, you can end up getting stuck with this whole question that we've been exploring today. And the reason why you can get stuck and almost start looping in some ways is because it's actually really, really hard to see why you are stuck, to see what it is that is not in alignment with who you are. We really do have blind spots. We have a whole lot of belief systems and things that are built up within us that make it hard. We're often so close to our own patterns that we just can't see what's really going on. So this is the space that I hold inside the Cosmic Identity session. So this is personalized, high-value session that's designed to help you as an entrepreneur understand how your true identity is meant to express through your business. So in the session, whatever it is that you want to explore, so you are directing where you want to go. Where are you stuck? It's kind of like those questions that we went through before. So by doing that, you're going to get some clarity around what's actually happening and understand these patterns in a way that you've not been able to recognize them before. And you're going to have some grounded steps, kind of like a grounded pathway to take you forward in, this aspect of your business. Obviously, if you wish to go through a much broader aspect of your business, that's why I have different programs, other programs that you can find details about down below. But this is a great place to start if you're asking yourself, why does my business just not feel like it fits me? Or why do I feel like I don't fit my business? The other side of the coin. So when your business aligns with who you are, and when you align yourself with a business that matches you, it stops feeling like something that you have to force. That is a big. So I would love to find out how you're feeling in your business and if there was anything in particular today that has helped you see your business in a different way. Till next time, bye.